Why the poor stay poor. 10 poverty reasons. Why is poverty still prevalent today? Why do poor people remain poor? These are questions that have been thrown around for a long time. It's a problem that millions of people are facing and wanting to escape from. Many social movements have taken place to tackle and resolve many social issues. However, poverty is a very complex challenge that remains in the present society. We've rounded up 10 reasons why the poor stay poor. 1. Lack of access to basic needs. People need to acquire the basic needs, food, water and shelter, to survive. Without these needs, it will heavily affect their health, thus putting their livelihood and income at risk. Our bodies need nutrition to sustain our cognitive abilities as we go about our daily lives. Scarcity in these resources can also lead to illness and diseases that can add up more financial burden to the individual. The lack of proper shelter puts poor people in danger and at a high risk of environmental threats. 2. Lack of access to quality education. Education is a tool for people to acquire knowledge, career advancements and skill enhancement. With a competitive job market, education can be a leverage for getting better paying jobs. Poor people often find it difficult to continue pursuing their education for many reasons. The lack of funds to support education is a common problem. Children tend to stop schooling to find jobs and help increase their family income. The lack of basic needs also has implications in pursuing education. Children's health can be affected by the lack of nutritional foods, resulting in low performance in school. Their education attainment also hinders them from getting good paying jobs and expanding their career advancements. 3. Climate change. Natural disasters are inevitable, unfortunate events. It puts people's shelters and lives in grave danger. The effect is more severe for people that commonly have substandard housing. Natural disasters may easily destroy their shelters and possessions, consequently requiring them time and financial burden to recover from the loss. Also, people with agricultural livelihoods like farmers and fishermen are heavily affected by climate change. The farmer's crop can be ruined due to a typhoon, thus destroying months of hard work and possible income. Fishermen will have to stop fishing for a while since it will be too dangerous to do so. 4. More susceptible to illness and diseases. With the lack of basic needs, poor people struggle to maintain a healthy well-being. This can lead to different illnesses which can add up to their financial burden. Poor people tend not to go to hospitals for consultations and treatments because of financial struggles. This result is their health condition worsening. Also, poor people tend to settle with communities of the same financial state. These communities commonly have an unsanitary environment, which can be a health hazard for the residents. A dirty environment can lead to different health problems like skin rashes and respiratory problems. 5. Lack of savings. Savings are essential in every household. It allows us to have a backup whenever an emergency happens. With low-paying jobs, poor people are often stuck in a cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, leaving no money for an emergency. This can be due to a lack of financial literacy, inefficient financial handling, or inadequate income. The lack of savings can result in debt whenever an emergency appears. This will increase their financial struggle, and it gets more difficult for them to allot their income properly. 6. Limited opportunities. Most poor people have limited livelihood opportunities for many reasons. Educational attainment is a big hindrance in accessing various opportunities. Most jobs are high labor but low paying, thus requiring them a lot of effort to make ends meet. Some opt to rely on their social networks to get them jobs, but most of these jobs are not stable and consistent enough to earn a livable wage. 7. Inadequate infrastructures. Communities of poor people tend to be environmentally undeveloped. The lack of decent infrastructure can be inconvenient and socially isolating. The quality of public infrastructure has a big influence on the activities of the communities. Infrastructures like roads, public amenities, and the internet are extremely beneficial for a community. These help them access information and basic services to aid them in their daily lives. 8. Inequality. Inequality is also a driving force as to why poor people stay poor. Inequalities can vary from social to wealth inequality. Most poor people are excluded from community participation, consequently not being considered in decision-making. Income inequality also puts them at a disadvantage. Poor people can mostly access high labor jobs, but with lower income. Also, the workers' wages are stagnant, while the basic needs are getting more expensive. 9. Inadequate access to information. In the age of digital information, people have more access to gaining information through technology and the internet. Having access to digital information is a tool in acquiring resources and opportunities such as career opportunities, free educational content, and professional networks. These resources can give people an advantage in a growing competitive job market. Without these, poor people have more limited opportunities and access to equip themselves with better skills and awareness about their surroundings. 10. Large households. Poor people tend to have larger families than well-off families. This stems from the lack of family planning and awareness of the implications of having many children. Also, families that have been in poverty for generations are likely to have larger households. Children are unable to afford to move out and choose to start and raise a family with their parents. This can result in more dependents to care for and provide for. Their extended family may opt to join them in an attempt to minimize spending. But this puts an extreme financial burden on the family breadwinner. In conclusion, poverty remains in society today because of its many complex implications. While some of these reasons can be resolved by poor people, many underlying aspects cause poverty to prevail in many places. This highlights the importance of education and access to basic needs to give poor people an equal starting point in growing financially, mentally, and socially.